about America and democracy. There is no America. There is no democracy. We no longer live in a world of nations and ideologies. The world is a college of corporations, inexorably determined by the immutable bylaws of business. The world is a business. And I have chosen you to preach this evangel.
For all my free market healthcare robbing, stock stealing, retirement fund fucking with niggas. Fuck you little credit card scamming, jewelry stealing, crack selling, liquor store robbing motherfuckers. Shout to the homies, Carnegie, OG, Willie Randolph Hearst, Baruch, Rockefeller, the real Rockefeller, my main bitch Leona, pour out a little Louis XIII, Scott Rothstein, Jack Abramoff, hold your head, my Rothschild niggas, let's get this money. I spend my day pepping America overseas, pension for the workers, nigga please, embezzlement, etiquette, private settlement, I'm better with Confederate rhetoric from my mansion in Connecticut, foreclose of it, close out the tenement, I twist words like a speech impediment, I hope you got good credit bitch, if not better get a new job with benefits, while I play golf with niggas to get cheddar with, new money buys brand new carrots, my old money bunch of great grandparents, you got grills in your mouth, I ain't mad at ya, I own every gold mine in South Africa. Thanks, baby, you made me $1 billion. Plus, I own a building for each one of my children's children.
Your flashlight out, gentlemen.
Yes, this is Voice of Rebellion Radio. This is your host, Chris J. here, and I got Beepus Schultz with me in the studio.
With the flashlight.
And we also got a little bit of a guest here in the background, and I gotta apologize. We can give him a handle name though. You don't know what would be his handle name for this?
Flashlight Johnny.
Flashlight. Yeah, this is we've sold out. Yeah, we
flashlights can't say no, gentlemen.
Hey, look, okay, that's it.
If I leave you guys with anything, if you never remember me if you died.
Well, I gotta apologize for that. Like I said, we do this show now out public, so we might have our unexpected guests from time to time, but yeah. So this show has been brought to you by Fleshlights and Fleshlight Johnny. But by the way, you can get your expedited
If you feel lonely, if you have a lonely night, ladies and gentlemen, well, gentlemen, I should say. Or ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I don't know how that would work with a woman, because they're just like...
Women can have dicks.
Whoa, okay, yeah, I see you being progressive right there. And talking about, progressives right now, and, an unexpected progressive has shown up in the White House by the name of Donald Trump, with his... Now, we have Donald Trump now calling for gun control without due process. We got him calling for... his whole campaign was hard on immigration, and now Dreamers are going to stay, according to him. And what else happened? He said that he's going to, this whole tariff war, apparently, which, he sold off a bunch of his steel stocks, or right before he announced the tariffs. He had some stocks with one of the top things, U.S. Steel.
He's going completely 180. He's a madman.
But, here's the thing I wonder, how's the media going to react to Trump acting completely opposite of what we're used to Donald Trump acting like? This is one of the most craziest turnarounds, when this is a man who made a big part of his campaign about a pro-NRA platform and, against the idea of gun control.
And illegal immigration.
Yeah, and now he's pro-immigration, apparently.
Pro-illegal immigration.
Yeah, at that. Well, the thing is, though, he wants to, from what I read, he just wants, the children that were born here, so, the people that were, brought across the border when they were, little
baddies.
And they were, yeah, but if there were children, as long as they weren't because apparently I know they were going to try to expand DACA to people that were adults as well. So it wasn't really at this point really, kids that were dreaming, but this is going to be expanded to adults as well. I'm not the biggest anti-immigration person ever, but I think I'm pragmatic about it, and it's the thing is that I just find it hilarious how Donald Trump, totally makes a 180 on the main thing his whole campaign was started about. Remember the speech that he did to start the campaign that turned Donald Trump into a meme? I am officially running for president
of the United States of America.
Okay, I think your Trump sounds like more like it's autistic Trump right there. you got.
We need to stop the Mexicans. Hey, we need to get rid of the guns and not do due process. I'm Donald Trump.
Okay, it kind of.
I'm Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's like Elmer. That's like
I'm Donald Trump.
we're not you're doing like autistic Elmer Fudd.
Okay. I don't know.
I'm hunting illegals. No, but it's like I mean the whole. This whole turnaround in immigration, I mean, it's pretty ironic, and I think this is where like Trump's definitely distanced himself from, I guess you could say, true nationalists in Europe that have made it pretty strong anti. They've actually followed up and actually checked or actually cashed the checks that they've written. Look at if you look at, for example, Hungary, they've actually successfully avoided this entire migrant crisis with the president Viktor Orban. I don't know if you saw that, but they're like the only country in Europe that's pretty much hasn't taken any refugees into the country, which that's like something I'm torn on, about the whole refugee crisis. I mean, people are fleeing from war and are definitely went through a lot, but in the same sentence, it's part of the reason why you can't have, millions of these people come into European countries, small European countries where these people have suffered, a lot of psychological trauma. I can just imagine the kind of instability. We've seen that's brought into France and people that don't really assimilate too well. When Saudi Arabia has more than enough means in order to take in those refugees, and they won't. Why don't we hold Saudi Arabia up to the same expectations that we expect these European countries, for example, like Germany or France or Sweden, which is coming up. I saw that's the country that has that one guy that I forgot what's his name. I wouldn't have been able to pronounce it anyways. You know how Swedish names are. It was something like unpronounceable, but the Swedish Swedish prime minister elections are coming up October, and apparently one of the guys is is against this whole flooding of immigration. I mean, I saw the numbers aren't as dramatic as some people have stated about how many immigrants have fled into the country, but
I don't know. Sweden's pretty bad.
It's not like majority though.
I don't know. They have some Syrian refugee guy who's in charge of their heritage sector, and he knows nothing about their culture. Something like that.
Well, let's look at their population demographic to see how bad it really is. I mean, but it is odd, in a country that far north that they actually even have, I think it's over 10% now is now, I think 30% is foreign, 10% from Muslim countries. Let's see. I'm trying to, actually better to put in Muslim population in Sweden. Let's see. But I mean, but that is one of the things that even though they have small amounts of their sometimes it'll be 10% of their population, they have they'll have a lot of important positions in governments, and especially now that's starting to happen in some countries in Western Europe. Let's see. So
it's to Islam in Sweden.
Yeah, this is what Wikipedia. I mean, it's really well, it says 8.1%. I mean, that's not really that dramatic if you think about it.
No,
I mean,
that's not true.
That's what it's saying here, 8.1% as of 2017. But that's it's 810,000 people in Sweden adhere to the Islamic faith. I
heard there was more migrants than native Swedes, though.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, let's look at the kind of sources that if we type that in into Google, what actually would come out of that. Let's see if it's just a bunch of far right
migrant crisis in Sweden. Look that up.
Yeah, that's a good one. Sweet.
There it is.
Well, this is global research, though, so that's a pretty good. That's a source I use quite a bit, and this is actually from, it says July 2017, and it says the report has revealed the number of lawless areas in Sweden alone has now reached 61, rising from 55 just 1 year, and it says that, let's see, just 2 months ago, Magnus Ranstorp the head of the terrorism research at the Sweden Defense University said that roughly 12,000 rejected asylum seekers have a gun underground. Holy fuck. That's not good. And Ransdorf explains that what the backlash of refusing refugees asylum looks like and that the implications for those look like. And it says there's 150 Syrians, though. That's kind of that's like an outlier that you expect, though. It says have gone back to fight in Syria and returned to Sweden. So, wait, then return to Sweden. I mean, that's still... I just realized what that said. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, Sweden.
It's like, oh, yeah, you just went back to go to fight for ISIS, but hey, we'll let you back into the country.
Sweden's really bad. It's in really bad condition. You can go ahead and continue to read more about it, Chris. Read it to the audience.
Okay, let's keep going down this little rabbit hole. It says... this is what, according to the little study, I'm going to quote what he said. This is what Ransdorf's little study said. Extremists meet little resistance in Sweden. It's not that security services and police are not doing their work. The reason is that our counterterrorism laws are difficult to apply. You actually have to have a violent crime was committed or about to be committed to be convicted of a crime. It's not enough that you joined ISIS. Okay, this is getting cringy. It's getting really cringy. Later in June 2016, Sweden toughened the rules for migrants seeking asylum, limiting who can receive permanent residency and making it more difficult for parents to reunite with their children. Prior to that, Sweden introduced border checks with its neighbors for the first time in 20 years, requiring police to monitor trains and ferries and turn back those who have not had valid travel documents. Under the previous system, asylum seekers could enter the country unobstructed, regardless of whether they had the travel documents like a passport. Okay, so... Oh shit, the wind just picked up.
Yeah, it's getting real chilly.
We're out in these crazy conditions. It's like 65 degrees here. We might freeze to death doing the show, folks.
It's more like 54. It's dropping down to a hot 47.
Oh god. It's good. This is ungodly. It's global climate change.
Global warming at its finest.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, global warming, man.
Even though it's cold.
Well, that's what they say, though. They say that it's going to, like, throw out the climate of all around the world. Like, I mean...
Is global warming even real?
I mean, Al Gore said that the ice caps would melt by 2013. What year is it?
2018.
Ice caps are still fucking there. I mean, if it is real, they fucking exaggerated, like, to the extreme. But let's keep going on about this.
Sweden thing.
Yeah, Sweden. Let's see. Let's see. It says, let's see. This is okay. In February this year, BBC reported that the Swedish police had launched an investigation after a riot erupted in a predominantly immigrant suburb of the capital. Rioters, some of them wearing masks, threw rocks, set vehicles on fire, and looted shops. One officer fired at rioters who threw rocks at police. Okay, well, this is
Yeah, I heard they held the grenade attacks in Sweden. There's like a meme of that.
They have grenade attacks?
Yeah, like, I don't know where migrants are getting grenades, but they're chucking grenades at like police stations and shit.
Probably the CIA.
Probably.
Or Mossad or like vice versa.
Well, I mean, they are ISIS too, and that's where they go to return after a long
Well, you know where ISIS gets their weapons from.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much, you could say you could put two and two together, and you could say that's probably CIA or Mossad that are probably ultimately getting the weapons from. But
why not both?
Why not both? You're thinking like that taco commercial from like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It turned into a meme. A meme.
A dank minute.
Dank mayonnaise. It says in France, Emmanuel Macron's refugee-friendly speeches were one thing. Reality is something else completely different when the crisis is intensifying. And they're talking about France, though, I guess. They went to that. And it says Macron's interior minister authorized the transfer of 3 extra police squadrons to the Cialis region, I think is the name how you pronounce that. In an interview of June 10th with the Le Parisien newspaper column said, "Our priorities at Cialis and Dunkirk do not remain places of fixation that junks do not reconstitute. Sorry." And so, yeah, I mean, this is not just Sweden that's really bad. I mean, I know France, there's some pretty
well, it's all of Europe.
A lot of alarming photos are coming out of, or alarming videos of, like some of the streets like Paris and stuff, where you can see that's definitely a change for the worse. But let's see, is there anything more really scary things that's saying here? It says that migrants arriving in such circumstances are on balance either not educated enough or can't speak the various languages of the EU, rendering a whole 83% unemployable. 83% can't even work, won't be able to contribute to European society whatsoever. But, just fine.
They need a home.
It's like, how many times have you heard the argument about the whole migrant crisis, that these people are like, they're such productive members of society, but 83% of them are unemployable. But the thing is that
look at the rape statistics. Look how much they've gone up too.
Oh yeah, that the Swedish ever since the
you could look at Sweden, Germany, France, England, or Britain.
Migrant.
I don't know what you call it, England.
United Kingdom.
United Kingdom. Yeah, it's still.
Well, I mean, this is literally one of the top. This is a Google response that comes up. It says Sweden migrant rape crisis. Let's see, and let's see. I mean, I don't know. Some of these statistics seem kind of biased. I mean, coming from stuff like churchmilitant.com. They're going to be very balanced news. It's kind of hard to just weed out the bullshit when you got a lot of people that are just putting out whatever statistics. But this is from Sputnik. They're decent. Sputnik's it's like the mainstream Russian news.
Yeah. Okay.
So it says Sweden sees spikes in rape amid migrant speculated prevalence in sex offenses. So despite some self-perception as the epitome of gender equality and social justice, and contrary to the efforts of the world's first feminist movement, says rape and sexual abuse of women has been on the rise over the past several decades, as the increase reached an astonishing 400%.
Yeah, I told you.
The opening paragraph, the first sentence comes out quite biased.
Well, it's saying, though, I mean, yeah, it sounds biased. What they're saying, though, is
despite them sounding the way they're making it out to be, it's not all.
Well, it's what it's saying is like Sweden was like one of the first countries, I guess you could say, to achieve somewhat gender equality, and
they're sugarcoating it.
Yeah, well, but the thing is that now that a lot of that's went out the window with 400% increase in Sweden's capital, which is Sweden's capital.
Stockholm, I think, right?
Yep, that's Stockholm, I think. But Stockholm, Switzerland? Whatever, that's not important.
Well, I mean, you can look it up. You have Google.
We have technology, we're not savages. Let's see. Number of reported rapes in Sweden has increased by 10% in 2017, and a total of 7,230 rape cases, 667 more than the year before reported in the country, which, I mean, that's hard to...
What I think is just more sad about the whole, Sweden thing is, I forgot, the Minister of Heritage or something is run by someone that's not a native Swede at all.
The Minister of Heritage, the guy that's supposed to be about, know the most about their culture and stuff like that, is not even from.
Yeah, he's like some Syrian guy. Look it up. I shit you not. I shit you not.
You shit me not? Okay.
I shit you not.
Alright.
And he even admitted himself he knows nothing about Swedish culture. That's how fucked Sweden is.
I mean, I don't think anything came up. Let me try. Oh, here it is. Oh shit, it did come up.
Told you. I don't lie. I never lie. There he is.
Sweden appoints Pakistani Muslim head of National Heritage Board. that's Beefus there laughing hysterically right there.
It's so funny. He's not a Swede.
Quasar Mahmood, a Muslim born in Pakistan, is the new head of the Swedish National Heritage Board. This is an extremely anomalous appointment, since he rarely admits that he has not read anything about Swedish cultural heritage. But his new job is not really about preserving and protecting Sweden's cultural heritage and historical sites at all. So, is this the real life, or this
is real? This is not a meme.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
Read that.
What this
whole paragraph?
Okay, I'll read. Okay, so this is the sentence in this. Quasar Mahmood, who once rode his motorcycle around Sweden, apparently failed attempt to discover what Sweden, being Swedish, consisted of, is using his position as head of the Swedish National Heritage Board not to highlight and celebrate that heritage, but to downplay Sweden's cultural heritage and history, and to create a false narrative that will help compel Swedes to accept mass Muslim migration. He says he doesn't want simply to alert people to Viking artifacts and the like, but to use Sweden's history to create the narrative that will make Muslim migrants part of something. Okay, so This is so a guy that rode around in a motorcycle is like, oh, I know. So it's like, I mean, what? Could I go over to like Russia or something and ride around a motorcycle? I've done more research on Sweden than this guy apparently. I mean, this guy like literally rides around a motorcycle. He's like, hey, I know what it means to be Swedish. I'm going to be your Minister of Cultural Heritage. I'm like, are we kidding right now? And of course, he says he has no Swedish heritage of his own, and his admitted lack of knowledge of Swedish heritage and history ought to be disqualified him from the position. But now that Sweden is obliterating itself and committing cultural national suicide, after all, Swedes appointed Qasar Mahmoud to this position. The Swedish leaders who want to destroy Swedish cultural national identity. Well, okay, so maybe you might be a little bit more accurate about the whole idea. I don't know. It seems like they've really fucked themselves. Maybe more than one guy could fix.
Yeah, they did. Sweden shot himself in the foot. Goodbye, Sweden. There will be no Sweden by the year 2030.
Rip Sweden.
Rest in peace. You're a good nation until you tart it out.
I mean, what the fuck? I mean, this thing is that
PewDiePie, do something. Your people need you.
PewDiePie is too busy. Like, what is he even doing nowadays?
I heard he gets into like some political trouble every now and then.
Well, yeah, because he
mostly still does video game shit though.
Well, yeah, because he did like that one.
PewDiePie's a man-child.
I mean, well, he got it himself.
Brace yourself, Chris. I just started a fan war.
Yeah, look, we're gonna
61 million people are gonna come after you.
Oh fuck. We're gonna, yeah. Look what you've done, Beavis. Now we're gonna have like PewDiePie's gonna like saying it's gonna be saying.
I'm about to piss my pants. I'm gonna go pee. That's how scared I am of PewDiePie.
Yeah, man. This is scary. Why did you do this, Beavis?
Because it was funny.
It was for the lols. I mean, just to be clear, though, I don't have anything wrong with the Muslim population as a whole, and I think that the destruction of the Middle East by the New World Order, by the Zionists, is a horrific crime. I talk a lot about the Palestinians, and just to put that out there, is that nothing wrong with actually cherish what Islam has brought to this planet, but I think that this forced multiculturalism on Europe might have some unintended consequences, and I just think that we went crazy with political correctness in the Western world. Why are we appointing people that don't have any kind of connection really to the country? I mean, it's the same thing when an Israeli gets appointed to a position in America, and when you have these dual citizens that have their dual loyalties, it's the same kind of corruption. But in this case here, and what's happening in Sweden, is that we're witnessing it just seems to be interesting how European identities don't seem to be really protected by the same rules that other identities of other countries are protected by. And I don't mean to sound like a fascist or anything. I have many qualms against fascism, but when it comes to the politics of Europe, I think that that's the thing, is that I've long considered myself, I guess you could say, to like the left in the political spectrum. But I have to say is that I think at this point I've just gotten to the point where I'm like syncretic. I believe in what works. And in South America, I believe the left has done a good job. In Europe, I think the European right does a good job, and the European left sucks. I mean, just plain out simple. People like Merkel, people like Hollande.
Well, they're not really right.
Well, I was saying the European left.
Oh, my bad.
I'm saying that
misheard.
I was saying I was saying that I believe, I'm like, at this point, I'm more like, I don't really consider myself really left or right in the traditional sense, because I think in South America, the left works. In Europe, the right works. It just like, but just because they have similar beliefs, even though they're on technically opposite sides of the spectrum. Like, for example, in South America, the leaders that are left are generally nationalistic and believe in like economic nationalization, economic socialism. In Europe, the European left believes in like globalist economics and are about open borders and about this whole idea that the whole world's a happy family, should move in together, which
is nonsense.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I mean, it's like, where else in the human history has that happened, where everybody was living together and actually did it work out? Is that the thing is that this is brand new to the world. And I think everybody has their different cultures, different ways of running things, and Just throwing it all together.
We could, but we have to respect each other by our cultures, not interblend ourselves with the culture.
Well, we can't blend in all the different ideas, the cultural ideas of different.
Because some cultures are worse than others. It's a sad reality. Look at juggalos. it's true.
Hey, don't diss on my juggalo culture. You know, you got that
Whoop,
fake.
whoop.
Yeah.
Juggalo, whoop whoop, whoop nation.
Juggalo for life.
Sadly, I'm a Zero Hoot Gang nigga, so I represent
Whoa. What did you just say?
Nigga, Zero Hoots Gang, nigga, straight up.
Whoa. That is verboten on this podcast.
Bro, I'm just trying to make that cheddar, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Look, nigga,
Gotta get that bread.
You can't say nigga on the podcast.
Okay, nigga.
Yeah, okay.
It's okay, I'm brown. I can say it. I have the impasse.
He's kind of brown.
I'm Hispanic.
I'm Hispanic too.
No, you're not. You're white.
You're white too.
You're a white goblin.
I'm a white goblin. Yeah, and talking about goblins. What do you think about Jeff Sessions?
Jeff Sessions. What did he do?
I saw he did something this week.
Give me some update. Give me the context, the news.
Well, for one thing that he hasn't done, where's these indictments that he's supposed to do against the Hillary Foundation and everything?
I don't know.
But he hasn't done shit against them.
I mean, I don't know.
But from what I've seen, he's actually, he's oversaw how many arrests now because of this whole Russia probe or whatever, which now Sanders is all on board with. I know we talked about this 2 weeks ago, but I just can't believe this shit. I can't believe that.
It's gonna get worse because after the 2020 elections, they're gonna try really hard to make hate speech illegal. You seen the new YouTube purge thing that just went down recently?
The YouTube purge?
Yeah, YouTube purged a bunch of people. They suspended and banned their accounts and shit, including the most infamous / famous Alex Jones. They banned his account or something like that. What else? They banned a lot of people, basically. They have attacked and gone on a full-on war with just random YouTubers about everything. Because it's hate speech or politically incorrect or some nonsense like that. It happens to me all the time on Facebook, but that's kind of different.
Well, yeah. Well, the first time we all know what you got banned for, which, yeah. Well, actually, if they probably don't know what you got banned for, but just to clarify, that apparently you can't say you like BBWs, which we're not talking about big beautiful women. We're talking about big black wieners. You can't say that on Facebook. That'll get you banned. Which, yeah, I thought they were supposed to be all about about opening to people that were gay, and it's he said something that was
because it was considered racist. Apparently.
But
I don't know.
You said that's your preference, even though that you were just trolling. But they said that's your preference. So, what if you actually meant that? What if you just actually meant that?
It looks homophobic. Zuckerberg's trying to suck. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I fucked up.
Zuckerberg is trying to
switch topics.
Well, I'll mention something about Zuckerberg for you. Is that Zuckerberg is not a human, which
he's not.
He doesn't. I don't know. I don't really buy into the whole idea there's people the whole aliens or reptilians thing. But with Zuckerberg, that might be the one. That guy is so fucking awkward. I don't know. Maybe just a nerdy guy that made a Facebook all by himself, which I don't believe that for a minute. I think he got some help to make Facebook, but they made it at his little dorm room in Harvard. But and all of a sudden he has 8.
I thought he stole the idea.
Yeah, I think he stole it from some other guys. Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't that most internet stuff? Someone else came up with the idea usually, or it's not that's the thing, is a lot of stuff it's hard to prove who stole what because it's ideas. They didn't document anything really with a lot of stuff on the. Oh, that's what there was a session thing I was talking about. Trump calls Jeff Sessions Mr. Magoo. I don't know what that's what I was saying. I was what triggered that? I know that it says. It says
you know who Mr. Magoo is, right?
It's some cartoon guy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it says.
Well, this was from the Huffington Post, so I don't know how.
Yeah, that's that's cringe central. Wait.
That's like the Tumblr of news networks.
Boy, I gotta look up what I forgot. I know Mr. McHugh's a cartoon guy, but I forgot what he looks like.
He's just like a little old man with like no glasses or something like that.
That's some funny shit.
Mr. McGregor.
Well, I guess Trump's pretty mad at Sessions, which I mean, that's the thing is like entire cabinet. He's like, I mean, the entire cabinet he picked originally, now he's like pretty much fired or they've like quit all of them. I mean, look at it. Priebus, I think, left. You had Sessions.
He's forced to fire him though.
Priebus.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, maybe that's true. Sessions, probably next one to go. Bannon, which Bannon like turned on him. I can't believe Bannon of all people was like saying that he was like he had started like joining on the whole Russia probe thing, which Bannon was like supposed to be like the most like pro-Trump person in the Trump cabinet.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's pretty
sneaky snacks.
Well, I think Bannon. If you look at Bannon's history, I mean, I've actually looked into it. He's actually he used to be like kind of like almost like a Hollywood like liberal type. Like he actually was in Hollywood. He was a producer for years. And
so he must have been a traitor from the very start.
So that's the thing is that Bannon pretended to be like some extreme like nationalist type guy, but we all know that it was pretty much a.
Why can't I just get like a legit like real person? Why are we stuck with these fake phony politicians?
Why are we stuck that way? Because you know who controls America.
Yeah, I know, but why can't we just get one guy with an actual vision that calls them all out?
Well, they won't let it. They won't. America is the New World Order's muscle power.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Is that they'll never let us go because ultimately our people go fight because America. Fuck yeah.
Bring democracy and freedom to everyone. Yeah.
America coming to save the motherfucking day now. Yeah, but ultimately we're not actually fighting. The wars that we're fighting are not pro-America. Is that ultimately who's it actually serve? Who does that war in Syria actually serve? If we went to go fight in Syria, it wouldn't serve any American. And when we went to fight in Iraq, who did that actually serve? It didn't serve me. It didn't serve you. It didn't serve anyone else. Did Saddam actually have these weapons of mass destruction? No. He had like a big fucking like cannon gun out in the middle of the desert that didn't even an artillery gun that could shoot like things supposedly to Jordan or something like that.
The war was based on like that giant railgun. Talking about railgun.
No, it was like apparently some kind of artillery gun that could shoot something like a whole.
It was just like a big cannon, basically, right?
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
The Big Bertha from World War I or something.
Well, let me see if I can find it. The whole Saddam
mass weapon that shoots a nuclear warhead, artillery rounds or something.
It probably come up. I think it said Project Babylon, and is he going to show it?
Probably not. I mean, no, that's not it. That's Big Bertha.
That's some Soviet big ass tanks right there. It just seems like if you look at a bunch of big giant tanks. I think is this the thing? I think this might be the thing. Yep, that's the thing. This is all they found. I mean, if you're looking at it, look up Project Babylon. This is what I'm pretty sure is the little thing that they found out in the middle of nowhere that apparently could shoot something like Israel was what they're worried about. Which also another thing, when did we become like Israel's like guardians? I mean, why are we every time I hear it's like
because of the Holocaust.
Hey, wait, we can't go down that route.
But that's like the entire point. After World War II and the Holocaust, like the whole thing became. It's like the entire reason why Israel became a thing. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the suffering people of Europe that were victimized.
Because the Jews they were the only ones that went through this shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, also there was how many Slavs that were killed, how many gypsies, French, gays, everybody,
Germans, British, Englishmen.
You know that how many Russians died in that freaking war?
A lot.
27 million Russians died in the World War II.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, that's like a failure of Russian strategists. They just kind of did mass suicide charges at German positions.
And then China, they had like 16 million died themselves.
Yeah, China went through some heavy shit. And
like 10 million of citizens were killed.
Ignored. It's completely ignored in history books.
Yeah, like China lost way more than America or like pretty much any European country.
Rape of Nanking.
Yeah, the Japanese fucked them up pretty badly. And we give all the credit to the Americans for winning that war, but the Chinese there was two fronts pretty much. There was like the Western front on China.
You don't even know about nobody even knows about I think it's called the Republic of China, right?
Yeah, the Republic of China is who won the war.
And how they were
Japanese
funded,
side.
how they were also I think before Japan and Germany became allies, Germany and China were kind of buddies back in the day.
Are they
Yeah, like, have you seen their uniforms? Look up their uniforms.
Chinese uniforms from like what, the 40s?
China Republic uniform.
Yeah, it says World War II, so that's probably it. I mean, yeah. Whoa, shit. Those look a lot. That's their uniforms.
Yeah.
They look like. They look kind of.
Yeah.
They look like they were made by Hugo Boss, if you know what I mean.
Well, they were, because, I mean, back in the day, Germany and China had a thing, so... But then I guess Japan and China, they didn't get along very well, and Germany didn't do much because... Well, I mean, if anyone, Germany should have allied with China, not Japan.
Well, Japan, I mean, that's the thing is that I don't even know what was their plan there. What was their end game? Because say they won the war.
Well, but...
what would they done with China? Both countries are like, hey, we're superior. We're like gods on this planet. And it's like Japan is like, no, we're gods on this planet. It's like, you respect our emperor or else. I mean, what would happen? Eventually, they would just had a Cold War between Japan and Germany.
Yeah, but Japan would have lost. And I don't know, I mean...
You think Japan would have lost in a war to Germany? A bunch of people...
Yes. Dude, because Japan... Okay, one big reason why Japan lost the war, they didn't have good armor. Like, armor tanks and shit. Like, yeah, it's the jungle. It's kind of hard to use tanks. But America had better tanks than the Japanese.
That's true.
The Sherman was basically equivalent to a Tiger tank.
True.
Let's just say that.
Sure, the Japanese didn't have to hold off Britain, France, the United States, Russia. You know, Germany. Really, like, one of those countries weren't in it. Germany. They were so close to winning that war.
Germany knew how to do a thing called a tactical retreat, while Japan would just be like bonsai. We're boot bomb gang shit, motherfucker. That's what they did.
Well, a lot of them, a lot of them did meth, so they were like all like messed up while like.
Yeah, also that Germans were like fucking messed out super soldiers.
No, I was talking about the Japanese.
Oh, they did meth too?
Yeah, I think the kamikaze fighters would.
Oh,
they'd get all messed up before like.
They did something. They drank some weird tea, and they Allah Akbar into the ground. Or into
Allahu Akbar. They're not even Muslim, Ryan. That's totally like that's like 5,000 miles west, man.
Okay, they bonsai.
But yeah, Japanese are like a whole different like code of war. Like Germans were a lot more organized because they're Germans and they're just organized about everything. Shit. I'm pretty sure your average German guy probably has a schedule for like his taking his shits, and nevertheless, probably their country's war strategy.
Probably. Everything's on the dot.
I mean, fuck it. There's a reason why they have like the saying is like more organized and or more on time than a German train schedule, because they just know how to put shit together. You know, like the Germans the Germans were technologically superior than everyone else. I mean, we took a lot of their technology later, had more strategy than everyone else, but they just had one crucial thing: numbers.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the Soviets outnumbered them at times, I think 12-1.
But I mean, that's another thing, though. Like,
and it wasn't like actual soldiers a lot of times. Like, you're right, it was like prisoners and shit.
Yeah.
That a lot of times were out to fight. Because it's like, hey,
most of them weren't given guns because like the Soviet Union was kind of going through a financial crisis due to the war, so they couldn't really give all their soldiers guns as well. A lot of them charging there with bricks and shit. It was a bloody war, dude.
Hey, a Slav with a brick is a dangerous thing. You know, start putting that soul music of a cheeky bricky. They start doing some amazing feats.
You just hear a muffled cheeky bricky, and then you just hear like the Slavic yelling, just oh,
and just hear the Germans like 999.
No, you just hear one of them go, oh, mine.
It's like
cheeky bricky is actually a 3,000-year-old Slavic song.
Yeah, that's their cult. That's right there. That's the cultural song of the Slavic people. And then you just hear someone in the background shout, "It's Boris!" It's, oh shit.
Did you know that the real actual Russian flag was based off the Adidas logo?
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
The Adidas logo is, the Adidas is ancient, you know? Like Jesus wore Adidas.
He did. He wore the Slavic Adidas tracksuit.
Yes. That's,
he was being hung.
And he redistributed the Adidas all to his disciples.
To his believers.
Yes.
Followers.
Yes. Adidas. Yes, this show has been brought to you by Adidas. True Slavic wear. Okay, so this is... I'm not going on Reddit, because Reddit's like... And also, that's not accurate, just a bunch of people... Well, let's see, this is Telegraph, which is not really a source I would normally use, but I just want to see what they have to say.
We'll use multiple sources.
Let's see. So, I mean, this is what they say about the Soviets. That this is talking about Stalingrad, which is probably where they use about the most amount of troops in any battle in the war. Let's see. So it says that. Let's see. Does it say anything about them not having guns though? That's what I'm looking for. It says more than a million people perished there. It doesn't. Let's see if it says anything about guns though. It doesn't look. I don't know where did you see that about the Soviets not having enough guns in the war? Which makes sense. I mean, how many soldiers there were in the war? There have to be some that didn't have some guns.
Well, I mean, as you said, a lot of people were prisoners, so why would they give them guns?
That's true.
They just kind of let them as cannon fodder, you know? Like, their tactics were very brutal. They didn't care about their soldiers, like most communists. Don't care about the people.
True. Which
if you look at the standard battles between Germans and the Soviets, the casualties on the German side is a lot less than the casualties on the Russian side, even if the Russians did win.
Now, did you think that there was only so many troops that the Germans could even, like, a lot of times the Germans were just outnumbered, so the casualty number would be less anyways. Like I said, they were outnumbered 12-1.
Yeah, but they would do more damage. They would do way more damage to the Soviet army before succumbing to defeat.
So I got a question for you. If you think that, what do you think would have happened if, say, the Germans actually beat the Russians? Do you think that they would have actually, like, toppled anybody else that would have gone their way, or?
Yeah, probably. Because, I mean, if they were able to conquer the Soviet Union, they would have been able to, like, take the oil fields and shit. I don't know, destroy their. I don't know. It's kind of a hard way of saying it, but I think they would be a very major powerhouse. Like, because like if they conquered over the Soviet Union, that's one of the Allies' main ally. You know, they were like one of the workhorses of the.
Well, they were like they were the back of the Allies, practically the spine of the.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They were the workhorse of the Allied movement.
Not the brains, but yeah.
Like they were the ones that were doing most of the fighting, keeping them busy and stuff. So if they were able to conquer it, yeah, they would have probably won. I would have said they won, because like that way, I don't know, more Germans could have pushed over there or something. And not to mention, Germany was also allied with Finland, and I think some of the Scandinavian countries as well as like.
Well, there was the whole Finnish-Soviet War that preceded the World War II. Remember?
Yeah, and there's also the Baltic states like
Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania.
Yeah, they were allied with the Germans as well, and they didn't like the communists.
Sorry, every time I think of Lithuania, I think of that. I think of you know who.
Oh, Miguel.
Yeah.
It's a story for another time.
Yeah, that's not on the. That would be an inside joke, but
it's an inside joke. Sorry, folks.
Like 9/11 was an inside job.
Yeah, ooh, dude, that
was slick. See?
It was slick. Be right back. I'm gonna give me a sody pop.
Okay.
Look up the gun thing. I'm telling you, it's true.
Yeah, let's actually resource that. All right, let's look at. Sorry, it's a little cold out here, but let's look back at the. Let's see, gun. Soviet soldiers were not equipped with guns. That's interesting. I mean, I'll just go off of Reddit. Okay. Even though Reddit's cringy as shit, we'll look at it and see what this is. It says this is a large hogwash, but it's based on very small, very, 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 very small grain of truth during the initial months of invasion. Because large pockets of Soviet defenders were encircled. There were never a norm as to what happened during the first days of Barbarossa. That was the name of the operation to invade the Soviet Union by Nazi Germany. When large encirclement happened, some resisted bitterly. Others were promptly crushed. Many more attempted to break out. However, by the time such a large number of men were encircled and contemplate a breakout attempt, they are rarely a cohesive force. And breakouts, even if successful, form a pocket almost always result in high personnel and material were lucky enough to have some sort of motor transportation had to abandon their vehicles. The idea of under-equipped frontline soldiers were herded forward with inadequate weaponry, is a heady mix of misinterpreted first-hand accounts, propaganda, and lack of Soviet cohesion and tactical acumen during the years 1941 to 1942. Attacks, for example, that were meant to be well-planned and coordinated Soviet doctrine attacks often got cluttered up with successive waves attacking together or with artillery falling too late or too early, giving the image of a rabble conducting a human wave attack, which is a gross oversimplification. It's always good to remember that the Soviet production values were simply mind-numbing, and it's unthinkable that they would somehow be lacking in a robust number of personal weapons. Indeed, so much Soviet small arms fell into German hands in the initial assault that some machine guns and rifles were pressed into service with the Wehrmacht and given official hero designations. This is not the sign of an under-equipped military, but rather one of buckling logistics systems and reeling in retreat. So, let's see. But of course, as a movie, Enemy of the Gates is something that you don't want to base your knowledge of Stalingrad on. You better be off grabbing a copy of Stalingrad by Anthony Beevor. So it looks like this guy, I went to Reddit anyways, and it says that apparently this is a very, very, very small exception of people that were sent out there without guns.
Mostly political prisoners, but I mean...
Yeah, because it's like if you're a political prisoner, hey, you could fight for Big Daddy Stalin.
Or POWs as well.
Yeah, and instead, well, there's also... I mean, there's a lot of people that joined the Soviet military that weren't necessarily Soviet military to start. A lot of Jews in Europe went to fight for the Soviet military rather than.
I wonder why.
Okay, Beepus, that's enough of.
Well, I mean, we all know who created communism.
Yeah. I had a little bit of a.
Karl Marx was
Well, and to tell the audience, it's like the little story that happened. I can't believe that girl. I just randomly go up to her. I'm at work. I'm getting off lunch, and I'm like seeing what she's doing. She's like, "Oh, hey, I'm looking up about the Jews." I'm like, "Wait, what?" That was like that was like a record scratch moment. I was like, "What are you doing?" And then she was like, about the Rothschilds, the all that type of shit, And then she was like saying next thing she was like, "Oh, did you know Karl Marx was a Jew?" And I'm like, yeah. It was like I think I even said something like, "It's like you're speaking my language now."
The red pill moment.
I'd red pill her.
She's already red pill. Oh, I just got on.
Catching on, my boy.
Just caught on to that dirty joke, dirty boy.
Yeah, totally.
The Wi-Fi's not working.
Well, I'm actually using. I got a mobile hotspot I'm using, but don't get on that because we're using it for the. I don't want to use up all the data.
I'm just trying to get on guest, the
yeah.
type thing.
That's how I'm doing the podcast. By the way, I'm using my great old Metro PCS hotspot, which rarely do I use, but came in really good handy tonight. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the Wi-Fi. Usually it just comes back on after a couple minutes, but tonight's keeps booting me out, but
yeah, man.
It's like they knew we're gonna do the podcast or whatever. It's like, hey, it's like, nope, we can't.
Shut it down.
Shut. Oy vey.
It's a nice show. Shut it down.
Oh my god, I better not ever have to apply for a job that has a Jewish boss or something because I'm gonna be so fucked.
You're just gonna say "oy vey" once and get fired.
Yeah, I'm gonna be he's gonna be excuse me. I'm "oy vey," thing Jewish people say. He's like, I am Jewish. But how would he know that I'm not one of them?
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, I don't know. I could pull it off. I think. I mean, just gotta put a little bit more. Use a little bit of Yiddish. And just be like, hey, you putz, you schmuck.
Schmuck. No, I kind of like the word schmuck.
That's the thing. They do have the Yiddish. They have some pretty good words. I like their words that they have. I mean, it's like
I like some of their slang. I admit, schmuck's a good one.
Or
boy.
Well, that's not a. I mean, people don't even realize that when they're saying goy, they're pretty much calling everybody that's not Jew a N-word. That's the equivalent. It's worse almost. Because what it's pretty much saying is that we're not humans, pretty much. Because it's what it's calling us is cattle. So, I mean, if anybody actually...
Let me throw away our trash.
Well, actually, let me drink that.
Okay. Continue. Yeah,
we have our official janitor for Voice of Rebellion Radio here. And yeah, so yeah, if people actually knew what that term, well, actually goyim means cattle. So it's like the plural word for it. There's like a goy means like singular, but like if people actually knew what that word meant, yeah, I think that would, and that's the thing is like I don't have a problem with like it's like just to make it clarified that Jews as a whole are not bad people, but it's like ultimately when you look at like the Zionist government, this is what they believe. This is they truly believe that the Zionist or they believe the Zionist regime in Israel and that themselves, the Jewish people, are superior to the rest of the world. Like, there's no doubt about it that the Israeli government believes that. I mean, there was that one president back in the 1980s in Israel that I think he was quoted as saying, let me see if I can find that exact quote. And I've said it before on my show by, I think, Mehmet Begin. I forget what's his name. Let's see. Though it says he's like, we are divine gods on this planet or something like that. Let's see if it actually comes up. Too woke for him. Just like sat down, like nope.
Yeah, it's been shutting off all day, dude.
Ah, shit, didn't come up. Okay, let's see. Israeli Prime Minister. We are divine. Let's see. Divine gods. So, yeah, there it is. Yes, it's a minute. How do you pronounce that? Can you pronounce that?
Merchant Biggin.
That's not how it's pronounced. Did you actually like accidentally say that, or did you
No,
like?
I said that on purpose.
Oh, I thought you said it on purpose. I thought you just saw like the Emmy and was like merchant.
I don't know.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There.
Our race is the master race. We are divine gods on the planet. We are as different from the inferior races as they are from insects. Other races are beasts and animals, cattle at best. Our destiny is to rule over the inferior races. The masses will lick our feet and serve us as our slaves.
Well, doesn't that say it all?
And with they.
I mean, I don't know.
Remember when Netanyahu he said that the Holocaust was a lie?
That was his son, actually. I think.
No, that was him.
Oh, I thought. Well, his son actually put some post. Remember, Netanyahu's son went like he put some like meme online, which I think I should just bring it up to show you how funny this thing is. I don't know. I just think it's funny because who posted it? I mean, but this is actually what Netanyahu's son posted. He posted one of those.
Oh boy, that's a good one.
Soros controlling alien, controlling, I guess, Freemason, Illuminati guy, controlling some guy. It's supposed to be, I think they're like Israeli politicians, which this is what it's originally based on. It's I guess, merchant controlling alien, controlling Illuminati guy, controlling Israeli guy, controlling mole man on scooter, this hamburger.
Oh, that's American Beefus.
That's American Beefus?
I mean, American Spurto.
Oh, yeah, you told me that. That's Spurto. Oh, yeah. Beepus, that's a whole... Well, there's Beepus and there's Venus, right? That's
Venus.
That's like two different memes. That's what it kind of looks like. It looks like the Venus meme, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's based off the Venus meme.
Oh, okay. Cause, yeah, it's put the Venus meme in. This is... Ever since Beepus came on the show, we got way more dank with our content. Yeah, let's see. That looks like just like the guy that was on the motor scooter.
Yeah, I know.
What?
No, I'm like, God, get it?
What?
He came in his pants.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be something. I saw like the Swedish flag. I thought it was gonna be something about their immigrant.
Oh man, you gotta get like Windows Maker and start like showing these.
I know. Yes. We gotta upgrade our podcast to that just so they can see like all the funny shit that we're just like looking at.
And post the articles that we're showing as well.
Yeah, like do it kind of like the. I mean, I guess that's the thing. I guess that's the next step would be going to like a actual like podcast. Where they can see us. They can see the shit we're looking at. We bring out the documents.
We show the proof, ladies and gentlemen. We're not bullshitters.
Yes, we'll show. We got the it's like remember that one meme where it's like when you got the documents, what she keeps on sucking, and with like Alex Jones.
Oh yeah.
Alex Jones looks like he's having like like a lot of times, like he's having like an internal he's having internal like
He's
ongoing.
having an orgasm. He's having a constant orgasms, ladies and gentlemen. He's constantly coming in his pants. That's why he's always angry. That's why he's always energized and ready to dig.
That's where he's getting that male vitality from.
He's ready to take down the globalists, one cum stain at a time.
Oh yeah, and that brings you back to our original advertisement for the beginning of the show, Fleshlight.
Johnny. Go to Fleshlight Johnny's if you want a good fleshlight.
Yes, Fleshlight.
You feeling lonely, guy, on a Friday night, nothing to do? You sitting there with your fucking big hamburger and pizza? You know what to do. Go to Fleshlight Johnny's on 666 Avenue, 775 9th Street. Fleshlight Johnny's.
Watch somebody actually look that address up on Google.
Did you just look it up? You're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot.
That's not a real place. So what's the next thing we want to talk about? You know, what else is happening? I saw else happening on the news. Let's see. Oh yeah, I saw that apparently there's some big anti-terrorism op in Syria. That's what I was going to talk about. Which here's my question: is when is this war going to fucking end? I mean, like I've heard it was going to end like 3 times in the last 3 years or so, and doesn't actually end. And I wonder why. I mean, it's like ultimately. Someone's intervening.
What's going on right now? It's meant to be that way. They're trying to like destabilize Syria to the point where it's going to have to be balkanized, basically. That's the main goal.
Well, yeah, they're hoping to split it up into like Kurdistan part of it, another part into probably some kind of like Shia country, another part like into a Sunni part. You know, to split up by every sect and religious group in Syria is probably the goal of the people that are trying to destabilize it. But, I mean, Assad's been, you know, like last year, it looked like he was going to put the absolute stamp down on ISIS. It looked like it was over. Remember, he totally pretty much crushed all of ISIS in eastern Syria. 2 years ago was the same way. You know, back 5 years ago, remember back in 2013 when he was almost put away with the rebels, and all of a sudden ISIS came about out of nowhere. It's like it makes you think, what's the next group that's going to come about? And I think that the Kurdish might be used. I saw that that's a weird thing is the Kurdish groups have been kind of like used on and off by the United States to like try to destabilize. But then I saw the Kurdish groups are joining back in with the Syrian government like they were earlier in the war, which is I mean that would be a pretty big move towards unity in the country because the Kurdish group, you know, that's like the one thing that could probably really balkanize is that Kurdish group from the rest of Syria. A lot of people say that, you know, Kurdistan could become like a second Israel, which whenever I hear that, I'm like, it's like, oh boy. I mean, apparently, because it'd be like because apparently Kurdistan, a lot of the Kurdish leaders, I guess, are really like pro-Israel, but yeah, there's another part like the Kurdish groups that are like anti-Israel, so it's like that's the thing. They're kind of like a pretty interesting question. I mean.
I know. I got a topic to talk about: the new upcoming Italian elections.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to that actually. I saw that actually. Didn't that happen today?
I think it did.
Sunday. Sure. It's usually that's when elections like happen.
Look it up.
Well, it says here. Let's see. News. Let's go to Italian election. Well, I saw that the right. I think like the populist parties won a bunch of votes, like the right populist parties.
Yeah, a lot of far right ideologies or something like that. A very pro-fascist group, I heard.
Well, this is. Oh God, I'm not clicking on that. look at these options: CNBC or CNN or Wall Street Journal. Ew. Okay.
CNBC, CNN, Wall Street Journal.
Go to express.co UK, which is mainstream British media. It still sucks, but let's see. It says Italian election 2018 exit polls have pointed to political gridlock for the Eurozone's third largest economy, as the results produced a no outright winner. And but what happened if the left is with a hung parliament? There's Berlusconi. Remember that guy? The guy used to be president of Italy back like 10 years ago. Let's see. A hung parliament would leave Italy with 4 scenarios, and from exit polls suggested former Prime Minister Berlusconi could clinch victory with a center-right coalition. But initial projections suggest the coalition will not get the absolute majority needed to govern. This means Berlusconi could be forced to make a larger post-election coalition with Five-Star Movement in order to make up the majority. The anti-establishment party, I think this is what they're talking about, led by 31-year-old Luigi Di Maio. At first read that as like Luigi Di Mario.
I was just about to say that as well.
Yeah, I was like, what? It was forecast to take 29 to 32.5%, making it the single largest party in the elections. And it says the ruling center-left alliance, dominated by former Prime Minister Matteo Renzi's ruling Democratic Party, was projected to win 25 to 28%. But pollsters said that the PD itself might end up only the fourth largest group in the lower house of parliament. It says during 2 months of grinding election campaigning, whatever, that's not really important. So apparently, I mean, Berlusconi looks like he could actually win the election, which used to be the president. He's kind of like unpopular. I remember there was a whole scandal that came out about him like 8-9 years ago. That was about I think he slept with some like underage girl or something like that. It was actually pretty messed up from what I remember. It was the Berlusconi scandal. I remember it was like, and he got him into a bunch of trouble and kind of like tarnished his image for a while. Oh, the prostitute scandal. Okay, yeah. It says that 17-year-old Moroccan prostitute. It says Karima El Makrouk, also known by the stage name Ruby Rubakuri. It says that he paid her for sexual services, and when she was under the age of 18. So
dope.
Did you just say dope? No, that's. I mean, that's my opinion on that, though. I mean, she was 17, though. I mean, it's kind of like. I mean, it was like on the line of being legal. I mean, it's still pretty messed up because considering like Berlusconi is like an old man, and that he was paying. I mean, he's paying for.
Date someone your own age, you old perv.
Exactly. But
it's not my fault you have a small dick.
I mean, some people said that it was like, I guess, that pointed out, I guess, that, other presidents and prime ministers, all the powerful people have done way worse and never get, brought up on charges. Why did he get brought up on charges? Maybe that he pissed off the wrong people is what some people, I think, said. I mean, I remember like Putin saying something about that. I guess that he was kind of like pro Berlusconi. I mean, Berlusconi was also incredibly corrupt, so I don't think this election I don't
think he's going to win it. I mean, as you said, that article you read was very pro left wing, mainstream.
Well, yeah, it was from Express. I mean, that's
so try to find something not Express. Try to something not CNN. Something that's not going to be completely biased.
That's not going to be
some more information on it. I don't care.
Well, let's say not CNN, not CNBC, CNBC. No, let's see, Al Jazeera.
No.
What's wrong with Al Jazeera, man?
They're very, very biased.
At least they're kind of pro-Palestinian times, but they just do that as I think just to draw in people that are
just
pro-Palestinian.
Just to stir up the pot.
Let's see. Well, I like this, as it says about the Guardian. It says Steve Bannon supporting some far-right candidate. I like to see what they mean by the far-right candidate.
All right, let's try the Guardian. See what the Guardian has
the Guardian, they're like even worse than
I know they're worse, but still.
I guess it's that Matteo Salvini of La Lega's winning support was anti-immigration.
Let's give him a look up.
You want to look up? Well, let's look up this article what he's saying here about Bannon. Is heading to he went all the way to Rome days ahead of the Italian election and has reportedly hinted of his support for the far right candidate Matteo Salvini. It says that the news was first reported by the Italian newspaper La Stampa. So let's see, and it was March 4th, so it was today. And let's see, and open and see. It says they're trying to fight the influence of Angela Merkel and the French President Emmanuel Macron. Or we should say Emmanuel Macron and his wife / mom. What's her? I forgot her name.
Wife / mom.
His wife is like 25 years old. 25 years older. It's the joke.
Okay.
Yeah. It's that's what people have said that there's all these like jokes it's like oh, I'm so proud of you, Macron. It's like you've been such a good boy. It was like it is his former teacher. That's the whole story. If you didn't know about that, his former teacher from when he was 15, he married his former teacher. She was like 40, and he was like 15 when they met, and he married her later.
Oh shit! Ew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
like she's like grandma age.
Well, she's like 64 now, and she's like 39.
Grandma.
Yeah. He's like old. He's more than old enough to be his mom, and was at the time. That's what's creepy. That he was 15. There's some people who suggested that she's like kind of like a handler for Macron. Like
Okay.
Macron's that's like his direct handler. But let's go back. Let's take a sharp right turn back into the normal sane world and see what's going on with this. I already forgot his name. Salvini.
Macron's a grandma fucker.
He likes his gilf.
Yeah.
It says it's a traditional politics and not likely to be banned. It's only interested in Italy. Oh, he says he's going to go to the Vatican. So it just keeps going on about banning, actually.
All right, then go on, Google that one guy.
Matteo Salvini. Let's see what this guy's about. And also, you can look up a man. Look for your own interest. Look up Macron's life. It's pretty, yeah.
So what if I could get on the fucking internet?
So it says Matteo Salvini. I mean, this guy's only like 30. Or is this the guy? That's not the guy that's 31. But this guy's pretty young. He looks like he's 45. I guess that'd be still pretty young for politics. And it says about his political views. It says that he supports a flat tax, like what Ron Paul supports. He supports tax cuts, fiscal federalism. It says like tariffs, protectionism. So it's like tariffs, promoting, kind of like more of economic nationalism, and to some extent agrarianism. So like supporting the farmers. It says Salvini opposes same-sex marriage in the EU's management of immigration, while it supports family values and that's what it says. It supports family values and the legalization of brothels. What? That's a weird sentence right there. It's like, well,
We like the family unit, but we also like prostitutes.
Yeah, it's like, Dad's got to have a little bit of a stress relief sometimes. He's got to go visit the brothel. It also said, but in foreign policy, what's good? He says he opposes the international embargo against Russia in 2014.
Yeah, I heard Russia and then might actually become allies or something, which would definitely shake things for the EU.
Oh yeah, because the EU, one of the main things they've been
ever since UK, like the EU is like really slowly crumbling. Like Poland's
way before the UK, way before Brexit was it crumbling though.
Well, I mean, I know that, but I mean now it's like really falling apart. Like Poland's like might be next to get out. Because they don't like the way they're being treated, especially now that they're being forced to be called, like, I don't know, Holocaust collaborators or something.
Wait, the UK?
No, Poland.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Poland. Well, how were they Holocaust collaborators? Weren't they? They were like one of the main ones.
It's because they're pro-nationalists. They're just a pro-nationalist country right now, and because you're a nationalist, that means you're a Nazi. So now they're trying to paint Poland as, like, Holocaust collaborators instead of, like, the ones who actually help people get out of the concentration.
Well, I was like thinking, the Polish people were like a big part of the resistance to like the German occupation of Europe. So that seems like, I mean, what's next? Are we going to start saying that the French were? I mean, well, actually, the French, they were sort of like Holocaust collaborators because they had. I mean, the French government was occupied by the Germans. And I guess you could say, but what's next? We're going to say like all those French, what was the French Freedom Legion? We're going to say that they were Holocaust collaborators.
Yes.
I mean, this is, but of course, it's the same people that say like second generation Holocaust or third generation Holocaust survivor and stuff like that. I mean, it's the same logic of this whole, playing the victim. But it says, and also Salvini was a supporter of Trump. It says he actually met Trump in 2016, April 2016. Let's see what his party actually what they have to say about Lega Nord. That's what they say is the party name here. It says, and it just says it's like a moderate right wing party though. It doesn't really like say it's like it's actually one of the, but they say it's kind of similar to like France's National Front, the party that supported Le Pen. And kind of similar to the one party that supported Geert Wilders, which I don't know if you know who Geert Wilders is, Beepus, but
I'm kind of familiar with him.
The guy that has the Mozart hair that was like running for like the Dutch presidency a little bit ago.
Oh yeah, did he win or whatever?
No, he's
I forgot what he did. I'm kind of a little. Need some more context on him.
Well, Geert Wilders was like he almost won the election.
Oh wait, yeah, I remember him now. Okay,
I was like Mozart hair. I mean, that hair. He's almost got like a Trump hair almost. In a way.
Heard he lost, didn't he?
He lost, yeah. He lost narrowly back like in 2016. He could have taken over at that point, but it came down to him and like some far left guy, and I think the far left guy won in the end.
Poor Europe.
Yeah, I mean,
Rest in peace, Europe.
yeah. Let's have a moment of silence for Europe right now, as it looks like they're. Well, I mean, they're not. I mean, there's still hope. I mean, we've got like Le Pen almost won France in 2017, so maybe a few more years of them getting totally fucked over, and they'll like vote for Le Pen the next time.
Yeah, but they're going to be so overcrowded with migrants that the migrants are going to be the majority of voters now, not the actual Frenchmen. It's going to be too late.
Well, how do you know it's going to be too late? I mean, France, it's not like they're like, look, we looked at Sweden, which is supposed to be like the worst example,
And it is.
and has like 8% Muslim population. Do you really think like in 4 more years France is going to be 60% Muslim? That's impossible. It's not going to happen.
I mean, look at the difference between the actual Swedish population and the population of, I guess, migrants in Sweden. Not Muslim population, just migrants in general. There's more migrants than there are native Swedes.
There's more migrants than there are native Swedes, is what you're saying?
Yes.
But it said it's only 8% Muslim, though. I mean,
Well, they don't always have to be Muslim.
but it's still, and like the amount of like Swedish, like, I think it said it was like 30% foreigners, but most of the foreigners are from like Finland and
It
stuff.
also said that ISIS fighters go there and they like kind of just chill and relax.
I know they were like allowed to come back, even a couple of them.
Their heritage leader person guy isn't even a Swede. He's
a Swedish at heart. He did a motorcycle ride around the country. That makes him an official Swede. You know, he feels it in his bones.
Look up. I don't know. Okay, look up Swedish grenade attacks or something.
Oh yeah, what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, Swedish grenade attacks, and then look up the population thing again. And let's continue to look.
Well, it says Wikipedia literally comes up with like a list.
Okay, let's look at the list. Let's see what the list says.
It says bombings increased significantly in 2015, with Swedish police investigating about 100 to 150 explosions. Well, that's not normal. Let's see. It says that there were over 30 explosions reported in the Swedish city of Malmö alone by August 2015, up from a total of 25 in all of 2014. Malmö police have consequently warned about undetonated grenades in the city. That's scary as shit. Holy fuck. Let's just read that. Let's just take a little step back, because it's like, I read that so normally. Malmö police have constantly warned about undetonated grenades in the city. Where the fuck are we? Are we in Kabul? No, this is Sweden. This is Sweden.
It's pretty funny, isn't it?
What?
I told you, like, you think I'm making this up, Chris? As I'm going along, you think I'm just some racist?
Kind of, but that's for a different time. According to Swedish police, the use of hand grenades in crime is unprecedented in all comparable European and non-European countries, and the only countries with similar statistics are those with warlike conditions, such as Mexico. Well, that's not good. The ongoing drug war in one study suggests that it has 4 to 5 times as many fatal shootings per capita as Norway and Germany from 2008 to 2014. Okay, so it says they're getting like a lot of weapons from old wars in the Balkans. So I think they're talking about like in Yugoslavia when Bosnia and Serbia went to war.
Okay.
That's where they got a lot of that stuff. But it says the police presume that someone imported a large cache of grenades, which has then been distributed to criminal gangs. In addition to grenade attacks, there are a significant number of related bomb attacks with improvised explosive devices. Again, are we a fucking couple? People are building IEDs and shit. Like, it's like people got to be in fear, like, you know, driving down the car that they're going to get, like...
detonated.
Yeah, like,
for no reason.
Including homemade bombs. The number of incidents involving explosives tripled between 2008 and 2016. And it says that in just last year, the number of grenade attacks dropped, though.
That's good.
Compared to the previous year, 21 to 35.
They eased up with it. They said
so
enough was enough.
Well, so 35. They had 14 less attacks in 2016, but up from 2015 when it was just 10.
Ooh, list of noted attacks.
Well, this is back in the 90s and stuff. So
okay, well, let's keep going to current times.
Yeah, it's not really relevant to today, but I mean, oh shit, look at that list from 2015. 2016. Look at that fucking list.
I know, right?
I mean, January 27th. It says several cars were damaged and windows shattered after a hand grenade exploded in city I can't pronounce. February 12th, 2 grenades exploded within 9 minutes in apartments in 2 different locations. March 2nd, 2 people were killed after a bomb they attempted to make explode an apartment. Well, looks like they killed themselves with that, though. March 17, explosion destroyed a sports store and damaged the facade of a building. March 22nd, a hand grenade exploded after being thrown into an apartment balcony. March 28th, 2 hand grenades exploded in central Stockholm, damaging the entrance to the exterior of a nightclub and restaurants. April 6th, Stockholm. A grenade exploded after being thrown into a restaurant in Jakobsberg. April 11th. Yep, it keeps going on for a long time, folks.
It goes all the way up to...
1 man was hospitalized after a grenade had exploded at a parking lot. Let's see. April 17th, just 6 days later, hand grenade exploded after being thrown into an apartment, possibly against a casual target. I don't even know what they mean by that, but whatever. May 18th, a hand grenade caused extensive damages after being thrown into a villa in Fosse, likely a casual target. June 7th, a hand grenade exploded in central... for some reason I was going to say Vegeta, like from Dragon Ball Z.
It's a town in Sweden, people.
Yes. June 7th, 1 man was wounded by shrapnel after a grenade exploded outside an office building. Okay, that one's another one to make me stop. I'm just like, imagine being at work and just like, I'm just going to go get some coffee or something, and all of a sudden I fucking explode.
You just hear a muffled...
I get hit by shrapnel. I mean, you get war injuries while you probably would have had some like totally normal job. Like you probably was just working at like the IKEA call center, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh no. I mean,
Sweden's a mess. How far does this keep going? So like, where did?
I'm trying to find out some. I'm trying to skip over some of these and try to find the most notable ones. Let's see. Oh shit, that one's scary. A hand grenade exploded after being thrown at a car rental company situated adjacent to a gas station.
Oh, that is scary. That could have gone really bad.
Yeah, that could have killed like 100 people
or more.
It says hand grenade exploded in a hair salon. The attack was thought to be part of extortion, which. The only reason I laughed at that is just to mention like somebody said like looking in the mirror after they did the haircut it's like,
and then a grenade just comes flying in.
It's like, how could this day get any worse? You fucked up my hair. Beep 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 beep.
Keep going. Let's look at 2017 now.
Yeah, let's look at some of these more recent ones.
Okay, it's not that bad.
That was 2016 was a bad year.
That was a bad year of grenade attacks.
But and this year there's already been 3, which is
2 in 1 month, 1 last month.
Well, the most recent one, February 8th, windows were blasted out of a car when it was damaged. When a grenade exploded outside the home of a bank employee reported to be involved in uncovering fraud cases.
Okay, he deserved it, I guess.
What, because it was a bank employee?
Yeah.
Well, he could have just been a bank teller, though. He's just like,
You can never trust the bank teller.
He makes some $10.
Well, I mean, didn't it say something about bank fraud, though?
He said it reported to be involved in uncovering. He wasn't actually doing the fraud. It says that he was investigating the fraud.
And then he got grenaded.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Never mind.
So probably someone...
He didn't deserve it.
Yeah, probably someone wanted to shut him up or something.
Now look up, I guess...
yeah, let's go to the next... What's the next topic? Yeah, what's the next one, Beepus, you got to scare me with?
I don't know, I guess French rape attacks or French age consent lowering. Well, yeah, look at that, like something like that, it's called.
Well, wasn't it already super low, though?
I don't think so. I'm not sure, but I think they lowered it to 14.
Well, isn't that what it is in New York, though?
In New York?
Yeah, I think that in New York it's 14 or something like that. It says French. It says it may be reduced to 13. It says.
Oh boy, that's kind of.
That's cringy.
That's pedo-y.
That's fucked up.
Wait. Go back up to that article heading.
It says France is considering a change.
No, not that one. Up ahead more.
Justice.
God damn it.
Screw you, Apple. It says Justice Minister. It says French. This headline.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read that out. French age consent may be reduced to 13-year-olds after courts ruled 2 11-year-old girls weren't raped. Wait, what? Okay, I don't even want to look into this. It's going to be like heartbreaking, but let's see what it is. It says...
I love your reactions, Chris.
This is going to be pretty fucked up.
Oh God, look at that thing.
I'm not even sure what that is. Well, I don't know if that. I think this person's actually like. I'm pretty sure these people are like actually protesting against the.
Still, it looks gross.
What?
I don't know. I mean,
I'm pretty sure she's actually like, yeah, I'm pretty sure because that's the,
Yeah,
that's the
it
name of the
says-
one, the girl. That's the name of the girls, I think, or one of them. So I think she's actually pro.
yeah. It
Against-
says right there. Feminist groups plan to protest Tuesday to argue the age should be set at 15, despite its age of consent. Well, I mean that's not much better. Despite its age of consent. Let me scratch my eye.
Well, 15, it depends. I mean, I don't know if they're saying like what that someone.
France currently does not. I mean, I don't know. 15 is kind of like a risky. Like
I mean, it's much. There's a big difference between the like 15.
it
and 13.
depends who you're going out with. If you're going out with a 20-year-old, no.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
what I'm saying though. Like 18, 15, there's a difference between that and like, but yeah, it's like 20. I've seen that before too. It's like the people that like they're like 22 and they're like dating like people like 16, 15. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like can't get someone your own age. Do they realize that? I guess they. What's the thing is that they don't. The people their own age know their own bullshit. So, but that's usually what happens. Let's see. It says currently in France there is no violence or coercion preserved. It says people may only be charged with sexual abuse or minor charge and not rape. I guess that's what they're saying. If it says if there's no violence or coercion proved. This is France has already had some kind of crunchy rules, but yeah, I can't believe they're trying to drop that down to 13. But the thing is, that's actually not. For some reason, that wasn't a shotgun as a grenade attack. So I didn't have anything. I had no like knowledge of this grenade attack till today. And then when you told me about that, I'm like, you're shitting me. This is what happened one time. Somebody threw a grenade or something, and it was like, oh yeah, it just happens all the time,
It's a thing. It's a thing that happens in Sweden.
Like, is that something to like greet people at the airport with? It's like, well, welcome to Sweden. You might get hit with a grenade.
Oh, Akbar.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, what's next? It's just like there's gonna be somebody. I mean, it's like a lot of these are just like casual circumstances. No, like even like it was like, oh, they're gonna fight,
they're just like
minding their own business.
Like
and
a grenade gets lobbed into a restaurant just because.
Yeah, it's just like, what's the next thing? It's just like they're gonna be chilling at the
Yeah, they were just casual targets.
Yeah, that's what. I'm like, what's so you're saying that they just threw it at people for no reason? That's what that means. That's sugarcoating that bullshit.
It's so funny.
Casual targets. I'm like, the way that was fucking worded, and I mean the one also just like, oh, it's like, yeah, I'm just chilling at work, and all of a sudden it's like
he gets hit with shrapnel.
I mean, I guess he'll get some workman's comp. I guess that's.
I don't know. Does his insurance cover grenade attacks?
Yeah, it's like hello Blue Cross. Yeah, it's like what happened. It's like it's like
someone threw a grenade at me.
It's like it hangs up the phone. Hey, wait! I'm not bullshitting you. It's like yes, we don't cover that.
We don't cover grenade attacks. Sorry. Good day.
Oh, let's look at the.
Oh, look at British cyber laws, I guess.
I'm trying to see if we can bring up some. We'll take some critique after of some of these pictures of Paris and stuff. Oh yeah, there it is. What's happening there? Oh shit.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really, really
what
bad.
What the fuck? I mean, these are pictures like what looks like places in Paris that turn into like shanty towns.
Yeah, they are.
Well, it's like what we said is that 83% of them are unemployable. So that's right there. A lot of them are just going to be pretty much just, hanging out on the streets. Holy fuck, look at that disaster. That doesn't look like Paris like I would think of it. Like, I've always wanted to go to, like, Europe, but now I'm like, I don't know. I think it'd be, like, depressing as fuck.
Yeah, it looks like Detroit.
Looks like Detroit and, like... It looks like Detroit and, like, in the bad part of, like, St. Petersburg, like, had a baby.
And Iraq.
Yeah. Yeah, Baghdad or something combined in there. Baghdad probably doesn't even look that bad in some spots, but that just looks like a dumpster. I mean, that's whatever. Dumpster got. Was that guy sleeping under that dumpster? Oh, it looked like a guy. I thought that was a guy under that dumpster. I'm like, I was about to say that's greasy, or as Cleveland Brown would say, that's nasty. I mean, I just wanted the review because this is what I see. It's been pretty shocking. I couldn't believe that it was actually happening. Some of these pictures of these like shanty towns that are happening. Also, I mean, we all know about the no-go zones, about like Cialis or whatever.
Oh, Kalia or something like that. I think it's called
Kalia. It's probably pronounced differently because it's French. I thought that's how it's pronounced, but look at that trouble. Looks like some more. Looks Well, I wonder if that guy was about to. Hopefully, no one's got a grenade in that.
Yeah, they were about to beat up a bunch of people.
Well, you've seen these videos too, where it's like,
Yeah, they just attack people. They rape people. They're horrible human beings.
yeah, like there's like these pictures of just like they'll just like go around like be pulling up like women's skirts and stuff like that, and they're just like,
Yeah, there's some where they just kick people down like subway stairs and then they laugh about it.
that actually happens.
Yeah, they do that because they're not legal citizens, so they can just get away with that shit. And if you try to go after them, the government goes after you because you're a racist. Like, there's like a fucking video of a bunch of German people complaining about it and about how in the summertime rape increases are going to get really worse. You can look it up on YouTube, I think, too.
Well, there it says this is the article from the BBC, which does not stand for the Big Black Hawk Network.
Yeah, there it is. That's the fucking video itself, too. I don't know.
This is a British Broadcasting Corporation. Berlin. Oh yeah, I've seen this video. This is Berlin attacker. He got jailed though. It says, and it says.
But most of the time they'll arrest you because you're considered racist. Like, I'm not making that up. Like,
is that actually you're exaggerating?
No, okay. You know the guy in Britain that made that video of the pug Sieg Heiling? He went to jail.
Like, wait, I gotta look that one up. British pug Sieg Heiling.
Yeah. Like,
oh, look, Telegraph. That's one of their papers right there.
Nazi pug.
Man arrested. He did what? Man arrested after teaching girlfriend's dog to perform Hitler salute as a prank. This guy went to jail for that? A Scottish man who provoked outrage after filming the girlfriend's dog responding to Nazi slogans has been arrested by Lancashire police. What the fuck?
Don't make these up, Chris.
Okay,
When
so
I tell you something, I'm not lying.
Okay, so I feel like we're living in like fucking Robot Chicken right now or something.
We're living in interesting times.
Like,
you should look up the video. The video's pretty funny.
But here's the thing though, is like I guess sometimes I complain about living like in the United States or whatever, but I don't know. West Europe seems like a whole lot worse.
It is a lot worse. I'm glad to be in America. The threat of free speech is really under attack. People don't understand that. Because as I said, YouTube went on this huge fucking purge, and they attacked and deleted and fucking suspended a bunch of YouTube channels, including famous/infamous Alex Jones, and all this other shit. It's just like it's a major attack on free speech, and it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, you need to be alert. You need to do something before it gets to that level.
And you can be aware with our by buying some payments for some Superman Vitality. Those are at 4 payments of $17.76.
And go to Fleshlight Johnny's.
Yes, you get that male Vitality. You get yourself all pumped up, and then you could pump yourself up with Fleshlight Johnny's. Fleshlight Johnny's not a real company. Don't sue us. What if it actually is a real company? Though?
I don't think it is. It's 10:27, my guy.
We got 33 minutes.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah, we got a lot. We got. It's at, yeah. I thought you were probably thinking we ended at 10:30. We are a 2-hour program, which we got a lot more time for you to get me to react in many funny ways and to get. And maybe I can find something.
Oh, there's a video. Look it up. There it is. Hit it.
Okay. This video can't be played here.
Go to YouTube.
Still watch it on YouTube.
Okay, go to YouTube and watch it.
So, yeah, but it said he went to jail for that, and I can't believe that. Okay, so this is the logic of Western Europe. The logic of Western Europe is that is that this is not okay. This guy doing a prank, but what is okay is people can just throw grenades, and that's not a problem. It's like we're just not going to stomp that out. Like that's totally acceptable.
Buddha, do you want to gas the juice? Do you want to gas the juice?
I'm turning the volume down a little bit.
Do you want to gas the juice? Do you want to gas the juice?
I gotta admit that
this is. Do you want to gas the juice? Do you want to gas the juice?
What the fuck is this shit, man? This is.
Gas the juice.
He probably thinks it's like a treat or something like that.
Probably.
He probably like gives him like a piece of bacon afterwards.
Time to get up. Do I gas the juice?
Oh shit, he's doing it. Oh, he's at for the people that can't see this video, this pug is actually
Doing Seago.
he's what the this pug is actually Sieg hailing.
Yeah, no. All
Later,
right.
man.
Good
Gas the
night.
juice?
See you tomorrow.
Do I gas the juice?
What the fuck is
Bitter.
this?
Do I gas
And
the
this guy went to
juice?
jail for it.
Come on, gas the juice,
For just-
man. Come on, gas the juice.
This looks like would be this. I mean, this is a pretty. I mean, this is a funny like this would be like a funny Vine like a few years ago. But in Britain, I guess it lands you in jail. I know there's quite a bit of, there's actually a few British people that listen to the show. I've had a couple of British guests. I had one guy, Ollie Smith, I believe, I forgot that he was on here. That he's like one of the top people in like this fan club, the Vladimir Putin fan club. He was British. And I remember talking with him. I'm like, I feel so sorry for y'all. Smith, you got to live in that shit that is Britain over there. I mean, this is a prank. This is obviously a prank. This guy is not.
I'm not racist, by
This
the
guy's
way.
a troll. I
just
mean, he's
really
like.
wanted to pass hard off.
Is this guy really a Nazi? He's like a hipster. He's got like that. Did I see gauges and like he had like a vape or something? What?
It's just a dog doing cute little Nazi stuff. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a dog. It doesn't know anything about politics.
Yeah, so it's like apparently he got in trouble because he supposedly indoctrinated his pupper to be a Nazi. Like, are we serious right now? Is this what we're going to worry about?
No, it's another ridiculous article. Hold on. I know a good website to find some ridiculous articles.
Okay, get the magic fingers out.
Am I on a new tab?
Or you're already on a new tab.
Oh.
See, we're,
Okay. Politically incorrect.
I was worried when you typed in P into my browser, and then I realized I've never used that on my Mac. I'm a good boy. I don't. Well,
It's okay, Chris. I look up porn too.
I don't. I'm pure. I don't do. What are you talking about? Pornography. That I am above that.
Where the fuck's catalog?
By the way, if since you can't see where he went, he just went to 4chan.
Where the fuck is catalog at? I know it's on here. Can I move this?
Yeah, let me move that out the way so it doesn't like close up. Yeah, there you go. Wait, you're already on poll.
Yeah, I know, but it's being finicky right now. How about I get on the catalog? I'm trying to find the catalog real quick.
I wish I could I could help him out, but I actually don't really use it. He's the 4chan expert.
I don't use it on a computer though. That's the thing. Oh, here it is. Okay, catalog.
Yeah, because you're always looking on your like cell phone.
Okay, let's see some ridiculous articles.
Well, I mean, there's about the stuff about like the South Africans.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that we could talk about. The whole South African apartheid thing.
Well, I mean, this is like, I guess you could say it's like the opposite of the original apartheid we know about South Africa, because it's like this time the white farmers are getting kicked out of are getting kicked out for their properties and such. But you know, here's the thing I have to mention though, is that wait, what are you bringing up? You're bringing up Swedish foreign minister says Scandinavian women should have sex with foreigners.
Yes.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they already probably do. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, is that really something you actually think would be controllable or should be controlled? Is actually who they decide to get in bed with? I mean, it's like.
Well, I mean, it's wiping out the Swedish people. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I guess if you put it that way, I mean, it's wiping out the Swedish people. But I mean, Swedish culture is not limited to like a race or anything like that. Like,
yeah, but if the main if it's racist to support your own culture, and then you have to sleep with all these people that don't understand your culture or support your culture, why would it be a good thing?
True.
Why would it be?
Yeah, but what if they're just like normal Swedish people that are totally assimilated? That have been there for.
Are they assimilating? Remember,
But
they're having grenade attacks, Chris. Grenade attacks.
Well, they're just lost. They're lost in a very scary new country, and their reaction is to throw a grenade.
That's how they've been. That's how they've been. Their anxiety.
Some people exercise.
It's not a good thing, Chris. They're gonna get wiped out.
They're gonna. Yeah, but the whole thing about about not like race mixing or whatever. It's like I don't know. It seems kind of like it seems kind of I don't know. It seems like the least thing to worry about is like who someone sleeps with. So in the end, I mean, it's like people. I mean, people are going to like. I mean, there's if people were actually like pure, there's no such thing like a pure race. Because think about it.
Yeah, but again, if you're race mixing with people that don't care about your culture or bother to assimilate with your culture, why would that be a good thing?
Yeah, but what if they're not? Like, for example, there are people that would start talking about race mixing. They're going to say that like people that are black in this country, you shouldn't race mix with. But it's like they're totally 100% Americans. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know how you're going to rebut that. They're totally 100% American people, or like the people that are Latin.
Yeah, but those people aren't Swedish, though. That's the thing.
I guess we're talking about two different circumstances.
America's a mutt country. It always will be a mutt country. But Sweden's different. Germany's different. England's different. Like, they're mutts of their own kind, but they're mutts of white people. Just as Asians are mutts of Asian people, and Africa are mutts of African people. But then you get, like, a mutt from Africa and a mutt from Europe, and you mix them together, and you're erasing the original roots of those said people. It's like a color thing, basically. So you got a rainbow, right? But if you mix all the colors up,
gay.
You have a rainbow, but if you mix all the colors up, then you don't have any more colors, like any more diversity of color. You just have one blobbish, filthy color that doesn't make good art. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, think about the like. A lot of times you see like people like that are interracial and stuff. It usually ends up to some pretty good, like at least when it comes to looks, it ends up with some pretty good looking people. A lot of times, I mean.
Yeah, I mean it really goes on genes, but our genes are different, though. That's the thing. Why do you think there's different races to begin with?
Oh yeah, did you see that? Actually, that's a funny story. That was in Citrus County. This is local.
What, really?
Yeah, this white nationalist teacher apparently that. So here's the deal: I'll educate you actually what happened because I was reading the article when I was on the shitter this morning.
Okay.
So the thing is, she was a Citrus County teacher that was a middle school teacher for social studies. She had a podcast in secret that was like talking about the J words, and also apparently saying pretty extremist stuff. She was like, and the thing is, she also was a normal teacher. And she like even bragged on her show how she was like infiltrating the school system. Well, guess what? Somebody identified her, and then like the Huff Post did like they pretty much like went in and investigated, and they found out it was actually her. They realized the stage name was like really similar to her real name, and pretty much put two and two together, and she pretty much just like kind of went into hiding now.
Okay, so here's what the new gun law bill is going to propose: allow some teachers to be armed. That would be optional with school district superintendents and sheriffs having to agree to it, and teachers needing to volunteer. Okay. You want me to still read it anyway?
Yeah, read it.
Okay. Make bump stops firearm accessories that allow semi-automatic rifles to fire at near automatic rates, illegal to sell or possess. Make it a second-degree felony to threaten to commit a mass shooting or a terrorist attack in a way where others can see the message, such as social media. Spend tens of millions on school security measures such as bulletproof glass, single point of entry systems, plus more than $1 million on mental health programs for students. Introduce some nominal gun control measures, including banning sales to those younger than 21 and requiring a 3-day wait period and background check for all the purchases from licensed dealers. The bill will likely be passed on Monday. Well, folks, there's some things I like about this and some things I dislike about this. I guess, for one, I agree with the new school security measures, like point of entry kind of thing, like metal detectors at every entrance and bulletproof glass, I guess. It seems like a good idea, plus some mental health programs, because like today's students really need it. I mean, for fuck's sake, they're even Tide Pods. To second-degree felony to threaten to commit a mass shooting or a terrorist attack. I don't know how I feel about that, because, I mean, if you say it in a joking way, will you go to jail for 5-10 years? But at the same time, it makes sense. We're living in some strange times, you know. People are getting stupider by the minute. Make bump stocks, firearms, accessories that allow semi-automatic rifles to fire at near-automatic rates.
I'm back.
Okay, do you want to read this again?
Yes.
I already read it and kind of gave my 2 cents, but you can read it now and give your 2 cents.
So,
because now I'm going to use the bathroom.
Okay. So, let me skim over this. I actually didn't get to read it, but let's see. So, it's saying that some teachers would be armed. I did read that part to be optional. And all these people got to agree that make bump stocks, firearm accessories that allow semi-automatic rifles to fire at a near-automatic rates illegal to sell or possess. Make a second-degree felony to threaten to commit a mass shooting or terrorist attack in a way where others can see the message, such as social media. Spend tens of millions on school security measures such as bulletproof glass and single point of entry items, plus more than $100 million on mental health programs for students. Introduce some nominal gun control measures, including banning sales to those younger than 21 and requiring a 3-day waiting period and background check for all purchases from licensed dealers. The bill will likely be passed on Monday. So that's my opinion. That seems to be kind of a questionable bill, if you ask me. I mean, it seems that the whole part about banning the bump stocks, I mean, and also increasing the age to 21 seems to be a violation of our Second Amendment. Also, it's kind of disappointing for me personally because I want to get a rifle, in the next year, but I didn't want to have to wait till I'm 21. But this is from licensed dealers, so that's the thing. They can't prevent They can't prevent the sale in the gun show parking lot. But that's the thing is that I feel like there's always going to be loopholes around that, and to spend tens of millions on school security measures. Now, I do agree with that. That whole point right there, where it also says about the mental health programs, $100 million on mental health programs. I think that's pretty much the underlying issue with a lot of what we've seen recently, and spending tens of millions on the security measures. I'm all on board. Metal detectors going into every school. Now, I'm all on board with that. Whatever it takes for keeping everyone safe in the schools. I'm going to be on board with that. But the bulletproof glass, I don't know. That seems I don't know if that seems a little bit extreme. Seems a little bit extreme at first, but I think that's what they're saying. The single point of entry systems. I'm guessing that's what they're meaning by they're meaning metal detectors there. And it says, sorry guys, that I'm kind of talking weird. That it's like freezing out here for me. I'm just like in a t-shirt and it's windy and pretty chilly out here. But let me continue on with my 2 cents on this. It says the whole part about being 21 and requiring a 3-day waiting period, I do agree with the idea of the waiting period, but bringing it up to 21, I believe, your Second Amendment rights, I believe, should come into full effect when you're 18.
If you're old enough to vote, you should be old enough to own a gun.
And you're old enough to go to war where you have a gun to kill people over there overseas, but you can't have a gun to protect your family at 21. But most of this I do agree with.
Yeah, I do too, especially
this whole point right here about the spending tens of millions on school security measures. I'm all on board metal detectors. I'm all on board mental health programs. Not for the bump stock ban. That seems like it's hyper-sensationalism. That whole thing saying that it causes semi-automatic rifles to fire at near-automatic rates.
No,
that's not true. And then the whole thing about allowing some teachers to be armed, I think they shouldn't have to go through all this. I don't think they should.
If anything, they should have like a school SWAT team or something.
No, I think they should have. I think there should be some teachers that are armed and no one knows who they are. I think it should be at random, because if people know who are the people they need to avoid.
They did say volunteers, so.
Well, I think it should be voluntary, but I still think that every school should be required to have a certain amount of teachers that are armed. So if no one wants to someone's got to volunteer. It'll be on a voluntary basis, but if no one in that school wants to do it, it should be. Then they should either hire people like guards to be in there, or somebody that has a license and all the training should be made to be the person that's going to have the gun but I think there's not going to be a problem with volunteers because I think there's if you have a school with hundreds of teachers in there, there's going to be at least a couple that are going to be more than willing to have a firearm on them. And I'm not the only one, but are you fucking freezing right now?
Yeah, I'm pretty cold, dude.
Yeah, well, we only got like 15 more minutes out here. But yeah, I think it like dropped like dramatically. Plus, they say like drinking kava makes you cold. Apparently, I don't know if that's true, but
maybe.
It said the bill's gonna be passed tomorrow, though.
Yeah, here. Let's see what else is on the news. This is where I always go for my news because they got some pretty good. Freedom of speech in the far right country. Nah, that sounds kind of lame.
Well, it said something about St. Petersburg. Oh, it's talking about Russia. I thought they were talking about like our St. Pete. I was like, wait, what?
Top 6.
Well, I saw that scary picture of Hillary right there.
Yeah. Let's see what happened.
That's an article for you, Beavis.
That one?
Well, Nazi Germany is the most ascetic regime.
It is.
Israel did 9/11.
It's a good one.
That's not something that all my articles don't. All the people that listen don't already know.
What is this one? Let's see.
Well, let's see what this one's about. Expat wives' biggest fear in Southeast Asia. When did you? That's a weird. It's a weird article to bring up, but I mean, I guess they're saying like people that like American expats that go there are gonna like run off with an Asian bar girl. Which
what's an expat?
Like they're talking about people like that go to Vietnam and teach English, or like that just live in Vietnam generally, or like Southeast Asia.
Okay, then that's dumb. I don't care about that.
Yeah, I was like, it's like Beavis, you even know what you clicked on?
What's this one? Okay. Snow places to hide. Police raid cannabis farm thanks to tip-off from ice-free roof. What?
Wait, what?
I don't know. That's a useless article.
Look, something with Zuckerberg.
Poster.
Oh, that's a meme. It's like a meme compilation.
War is coming. Are you ready? Internet blood sports. Blah blah blah. Boomers and normies are turning 1488.
No. You know what?
No, boy.
Yeah, I was at work the other day, and somebody had like their email. It was giving me their email, like with their account, and then it ended with 1488. And I'm like, I just like stood there. I'm like, 1488. I was like just trying to read it. I was like, wait, is she one of them? Oh God, look, Ted Cruz right there. Or that's not Ted Cruz. That's the guy. I think that's the meme. Remember, they're like saying like they're comparing him to.
Yeah.
What's it?
A fucking goblin.
Ted Cruz is a goblin. Ted Cruz. Have you ever seen that video with Ted Cruz cooking the bacon with the machine gun?
Yeah, I have. It's a good one.
Ted Cruz was just he was just pandering right there though. It's like, oh yeah, let's do the most American thing when I cook some bacon with a machine gun. So I want to try that though.
Yeah, trying to find a really good article.
Well, is there anything about like Putin or anything like about
here's Mueller taking down the Zog.
Well, I know what that means.
So
what is Robert Mueller?
Major Jewish GOP donor moves into sites of Trump probe.
Wait, so they're saying that the guy that's behind the Russia probe is going to take down the Zog, which I know if that's what I think it means, it's supposed that's the
yeah. Robert Mueller said he'd be looking for Elliot Brody, who gave George Nader a detailed report on meeting with the president. A focus of the special prosecutor investigated the U.S. Donald Trump, reportedly in the Middle Eastern businessman with close ties to a major Jewish Republican donor. George Nader, a lesbian American businessman.
It's Lebanese. It's Lebanese.
I know. Who serves as an advisor to the de facto ruler of the United Emirates. How do you pronounce that?
Emirates.
Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed
Zayed.
Al Nahyan.
Just like I quit halfway through that.
And who last year was a frequent visitor to the White House under Trump, is now focused on the investigation by Robert Mueller, the New York Times reported Sunday. The Fox News, blah, blah, blah. Oh, these are links. Okay.
But what's the thing? Isn't Robert Mueller Robert Mueller's the guy that's doing the whole Russia probe, and they're saying that he's like taking down that. I don't think it has anything to do with him like taking down like the Zionist backers of Trump or anything like that. I mean, though it is. I mean, everybody's now came under that Mueller probe. He's the same people that's like now doing like they said freaking Bernie Sanders was a part of the Russia Gate thing.
I don't know. Why did Tony Podesta quit his job and lose his company when Mueller's first indictments came out?
Well,
why did Trump meet with Mueller one day before he became special prosecutor? They said he was interviewing him for the FBI director, but Mueller already served as FBI director and can't legally be appointed as FBI director, so this was a lie. What were they really discussing? Why did Mueller revoke Comey's immunity, and why did MSM not report on this? Why is Mueller requesting all evidence that Flynn...
And it says who approved the visas and Mueller's recent indictments. So I guess what are they saying? Are they saying that Mueller is actually like working against the deep state? Because they're saying that he was like that Mueller like screwed Tony Podesta, which we all know about the Podestas.
Yes.
Then he said that he's like also...
You gotta browse here more, my friend. They'll update you a lot more. Okay, let's see what this all is.
Well, I mean, 4chan, I admit I have not spent too much time on it. That's probably a lot of the people that listen probably spend quite a bit of time on the 4chan, but...
You would rather have these people. I'm telling you, these people are always like who do you think was the ones who were questioning the recent shooting at Parkland High? This place.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. Let's get that last topic into the show. Is that we happen to have met somebody that supposedly knew people at here at Low Tide that supposedly knew people who died.
Hold on. This is the prophecy. I forgot. It will happen when the weather cools. Northeast big might. So on 4chan, there's like this big prophecy, and when you read each one of these, it's part of the prophecy, and basically it's showing how it's all fitting together. All right.
Wait, but what kind of prophecy?
I don't know yet. Here, I'll read the prophecy. It will happen when the weather cools. That means the Northeast might get its big first snowstorm this week, which I guess is true. And that happened back in December 5, 2017. 3 branches will become one. Republicans now control the presidency, Senate, and the House. An island will drift away. This means Brexit. A killing bolt will shine in the night, but will not kill. And this means like the
Syrian strike.
Yeah. Let's see. The belly of the dragon will drip water. This was about Hurricane Harvey and how it hit America. Because America kind of looks like a dragon. The rod and the ring will strike. So I'm assuming this has something to do with Las Vegas in this area, like this whole.
The Las Vegas Strip.
Yeah, the star will gorge itself on clay. So this is basically,
Is this thing about like? I see. Is this like about the Zionist?
Yeah, it's a Zionist thing. Let's see. The bear will leave its cave forever.
Putin. Something about Putin.
Yeah, that's like a Putin thing right there. What else? The ravens will starve. Be black, First Nations, and forth. Ravens feed mostly on corn, henceforth. With their lambs.
So the raven, I'm not even sure what that raven's supposed to be. It's also about Israelis, but and then it's the rock will stand on 7 hills, which apparently is about the Trump declaring Jerusalem as Israel's capital.
Breaking decades. 2 voices will call out in silence that all will hear. So this is about, I think this is Seth Rich, and this is the Mueller guy.
Yeah. Well, Seth Rich is the guy that was killed by Hillary. He supposedly was robbed and then was like killed.
Yeah, he was the one that
But he was a DNC staffer that was going to like expose all the corruption of how Hillary rigged the DNC.
Mm-hmm.
But then he ended up mysteriously getting killed in Washington. I think in the like a bad part of Washington D.C.
Yeah, idiots will speak. Idols will speak and move about. And I think this is about the whole.
This is about This is about like all the Hollywood like sexual assault stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, by the looks of it.
Because I see like Franken.
The black flag will fly above the dome, and this is like some ISIS. It's like an ISIS flag thing
in Syria.
Yeah. So it's like some weird prophecy and how all this stuff's like kind of coming together. Let's see what this little glimpse of information is. Wait, what time is it first?
We got 5 minutes.
Okay. I cannot read half this shit. What the fuck?
So this is just, I mean, that's the thing about 4chan. It really looks like a.
Yeah, it's really hard to fucking get in there, but once you have a good attention span about certain things, like there's a lot of interesting threads.
I feel like it's kind of like it feels like you're searching through like a database of just like documents and stuff, and just trying to, find a little piece of information there, a little piece of information there.
I mean, yeah,
and piece it together. But you find stuff you don't really find in other places on the internet.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it looks like just a bunch of all kinds of random shit put together.
This is, I mean, it depends how up to date you are with some of this stuff. But I'm kind of, I don't know what this is really all talking about, to be honest. I haven't been up to date with the Mueller thing.
Well, the Mo Mueller thing, he's the one that's doing the probes against the, let's see.
Is the ADL connected to the Mossad?
Is the Pope Catholic? I mean, of course the ADL is connected probably to the Mossad. I mean, they're the ones that are always declaring anything that's Israel hate speech, though. I mean, it says, here it even says, oh, this is interesting. It says, I found this old archive from 1993 that the ADL was accused of spying and had potential connections to the Mossad. Oddly enough, another news source archives about this event seem to be scrubbed from Google. Check out this video the ADL just made about their new hate speech algorithm. It's scarier than anything Orwell just imagined. So, but the ADL, by the way, I mean, they're pretty much like, they're kind of like the Southern Poverty Law Center.
They're the Anti-Defamation League.
Defamation.
Yeah, I cannot pronounce fucking words tonight.
Yeah, so pretty much what they are is pretty much to declare anything that's hate speech doesn't fit like the narrative of the mainstream. They've listed all kinds of stuff as like hate speech. We'll probably be on there one day.
Probably, yeah. We'll be against the wall with a gun pointed at us.
Well, they just put, then they put a bunch of trigger words. It's like just imagine it right now. It's like Voice of Rebellion is a hateful, bigoted program based out of Gulfport, Florida. But it says it says about the ADL that they were tied with the old spines in 1993. Remember that one guy Kelly Pollock who got actually spying for Israel?
Mm-hmm.
This has happened many times before. What kind of ally spies on their
an ally?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the same thing to I think Britain as well and
Germany. We do the same too, but the thing is that we have this is our relationship with our special relationship is that they can get away with that while with actual meddling they can get away with actual spying. But the Russians they put some post on Facebook and all of a sudden they've completely hacked the election. It's all gone downhill.
Exactly. Russians are everywhere.
They're everywhere. Everywhere.
The Red Scare is real.
Well, I don't even know if it's the Red Scare anymore because they're not communists, so it'd be more like the, I don't know what kind of scare.
The Bear Scare.
The Bear Scare? sounds like some kind of sounds like never mind, I'm not going to go into that. Sounds like it sounds like the name of a gay nightclub or something.
It does. The Scare Bear.
But anyways, to all the people that listen today, it is 10:58. We're about to end the podcast as we're reaching the end music. Tonight's music is, as always, Immortal Technique, Point of No Return. And as the show started, Immortal Technique, Rich Band's World played. Great artist. If you haven't checked out into his music, definitely look into him. And also look up Payday Monsanto if you haven't looked into him. He's an awesome artist. I don't know if he has done too much new stuff, but his stuff from a long time ago, 5 years ago, that's some gold. I'll still listen to it from time to time. Thank you for Beepus for joining me tonight.
And pleasure.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm going to sign off, and you guys have a great night.
point of no return and nobody can stop it. Malcolm Little when he knelt before Elijah Muhammad, the comet that killed the dinosaurs, changing the earth. They love to criticize, they always say I changed for the worse. Like prescription pills when you misusing them, nigga. The Templar Knights when they took Jerusalem, nigga, and figured out what was buried under Solomon's temple, Al-Aqsa. The name is not coincidental. I know too much, the government is trying to murder me. No coming back like cutting your wrists open vertically. How could the serpent be purposely put in charge of the country? Genetic engineered sickness spread amongst me. My people are so hungry that they attack without reason, like a fucking dog ripping off the hand that feeds him. Immortal technique is treason to the Patriot Act. So come and get me, motherfucker, cause I'm not coming back. This is the point from which I can never return. And if I keep down